considered any kind of human-powered transit, so walking, biking. So the idea is that if you can increase active transportation, you may be able to increase physical activity, which would therefore allow you to reduce the prevalence of overweight and obesity. So that's the thinking behind this idea of increasing walkability and bikeability. We worked with the health department to come up with our objectives. We wanted to characterize the perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors around active transportation among key stakeholders. And in particular, we wanted to answer the questions, what are the perceptions of walking and biking? What do people think about active transportation in Norwalk? What should be the priority improvements to the environment? And what are the most important areas on which to educate the general public about active transportation? Our methods, we interviewed 29 stakeholders, 7 residents, 5 PTO representatives, 7 business leaders, 10 public officials, and we conducted either in-person or phone semi-structured interviews. We used mixed method analysis, so a qualitative survey, and then also a quantitative survey, which we conducted some basic statistics on. Yes.
On the quantitative?
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you actually do the measuring, or did you just take what people told you?
We basically, it'll come up later, but
okay.
we just asked some questions on frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of, I can't remember the source, but it was adapted from a previous survey, and it was just on frequency of different behaviors. Okay, so our results. Individuals from across the 4 groups seemed to value walking and biking for reasons which especially included health or exercise and recreation and enjoyment. So one representative said it's for exercise, enjoying fresh air, nature. They said they don't bike for transportation to go to a job, so biking's all about health for them. One representative or resident called it good, clean fun. And another resident mentioned that I just think that when you go out in the morning, when I was able to run, when I would see people out there, it would just make me feel better. So it's this idea of overall wellness.
And a community.
Yes. And certain locations in Norwalk stood out across all 4 stakeholder groups as nice places to walk and bike. And these included the beach area, or areas near the water, the downtown, and Cranberry. And then nice places were identified by key stakeholders based on aesthetics and amenities. So this quote, it's long, it's about Calfpasture Beach and Shady Beach, but the individual mentioned the sidewalks, it's a nice active environment, there are attractions like concerts, and they said it's a great environment that definitely inspires people to walk. So that's kind of what they were seeing as good places to walk and bike. So there was a valuing of the walking and biking. There were nice places identified, but we also looked at their actual behaviors around walking and biking, and they were found to be suboptimal. So we interviewed them on frequency of activities like walking to work, walking for errands, walking to shop and eat, walking to a transit stop for work, and walking for exercise. And the frequencies ranged from daily to never. And what you can take away from these graphs is that there's a lot of dark, which is the never frequency. And we found similar results. These are for biking. They're actually a little bit worse. And even though 20 out of 29 individuals said they had access to a bike, there was a lot of I never walk for these reasons. So, but we did, however, find some high support for public spending to improve walking and biking. So the question is, why are behaviors suboptimal? Personal safety was the most prominent concern among all of our stakeholders. This person described dangerous as hostile bike riders. I think the roads are dangerous. There's insufficient space. A PTO member said that people want to walk, but when the roads are windy with blind curves and cars go fast, you're afraid of taking small children out. So there's this concern for safety. And residents also were asked to list their top improvements, and the top 3 were more sidewalks and bike lanes, increased connectivity, and education and law enforcement among motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians. Again, a business leader mentions at the end, it says cyclists have a responsibility to obey traffic laws and things like that. So it's bikers, it's drivers, it's pedestrians. And in conclusion, we've answered our 4 questions. What are the perceptions of walking and biking? There's a perception that they're good for individual health. There seems to be this shift to recognize that these can be activities that are feasible modes of transportation. And there was a general sentiment among all of the interviewees that Norwalk has the capacity to become a more walk and